It's Teresa here from Rochester in Kent in the UK. I hope you're all very well. I hope you're very, very safe wherever you are. Now, I'm going to keep this introduction short because I don't want this to be a long project. And I've decided that if it does get too long, that I'll possibly divide it into two and send it out in two parts. Now, this is going to be a very colourful, highly textured fabric book, I think, and I want to use up as many scraps as possible for this project and the foreseeable future projects as well. I decided 2025 needs to be a tidier year. Needs to straighten my mind up a little bit, and I think by doing not getting rid of them, they're precious, but by using them instead of just keep adding to them, it's going to make life a lot easier actually. So when I say scraps, I mean scraps like this, all sorts of bitty itty small pieces. I mean, this is a tin that one of those panettone bread goes in. So it's very pretty. Got this in a charity shop for 50p. Scraps are fabric in here, lace bits, ribbon bits. You can see this binker that had been started, some sort of project, rug canvas, ribbon, bits of lace, anything that you can put a needle through, then it's in here. So just try not to buy anything. You have everything you need where you are at home. Be surprised what you find just lying around, an older headscarf, something that you think, oh, that isn't any good. No good taking that to the charity shop. Nobody will want that. Well, perhaps you can use it. So don't buy anything. I can't stress that enough. And I'm saying that because I'm surrounded by stuff that I can't get rid of. I'm sort of emotionally attached to all this stuff, which sounds ridiculous, but I am. I'm not planning what to do. I do know it's going to be a fabric book. I want it highly decorated, snippets and pockets. I want a lovely texture. I will be led by this. I normally am led. I always feel I don't lead my projects, they lead me. And I think this is one of those one of the projects that would definitely
First thing I
lead
did was
me.
to go through the rag bag and sort out all the pieces in black and white, or predominantly black and white, and some white fabric as well. These are 10 inches long. Width doesn't matter because I'm going to join these. I just run through some of these, like the white ones. That one could be black or white, so I think I might keep to that side. That side's quite nice as well. It's just a shadow of black there. So there's nothing much you can say about these. These are predominantly white. I've explained about those. Okay, so they're the white ones to provide the contrast, the plain contrast against all these ones. Now I think you'll get to see why. Obviously I'm not going to use all these, and some of them luckily enough were already cut, so wasn't too bad doing these, but I think maybe I might have to resize some of these. The length, I've got the length I need, the 10 inches, but I'm not sure about how wide, whether to make them half that width or maybe even smaller still. 2:15 in the morning. Glenn's still downstairs. My stepson is in the next room, fast asleep. And I did say to Glenn, do you think it's too late to use my sewing machine? And he said, no, we're semi-detached, and the house that is attached to us is the other side of the stairs, so nobody will hear. And I will be using the sewing machine because there's quite a lot to do here. But having said that, you could do these just as well, and probably just as quick, if I'm honest. You could seam them either that way, right sides together, and then you seam along here with a back stitch or a small running stitch all the way along there, and just keep adding to them that way. So then you put another one exactly the same, right side to right side, back stitch or running, and you would gradually grow your roll. I don't know whether I can push my luck and start it now. I'm not sure. I might do one or two and see how it goes. And then when I get back, hopefully, I'll have quite a substantial roll here.
Well, I did manage to machine sew all these strips together, and it's still not 3 o'clock yet. I'm hanging it on the wall now. I'm just running the camera down so you can see what I've done. I have trimmed all the way along the sides here, and not only have I trimmed along there, I've actually now sewn it to a backing. Now the backing are 2 legs. I took the 2 legs off a pair of jeans, Glenn's jeans actually, and he does know about this. Yeah, this is something he does know about. I think I probably would have done it anyway. So 2 legs of Glenn's jeans, split them, and I've sewn the black and white strip onto the back. Okay, so I'm not too worried about the stitches because the stitches will be covered up. So that is where I am at the moment.
Embellishments. I used to call them runarounds in the early days because I didn't know they had a name like snippets or whatever. So to me, they were little runarounds that I'd sit and do sew in front of the TV. And all they are pieces of fabric that are over from projects. So I've kept the shapes, all the little shapes that are over. That is why some of these are a bit of a strange old shape. It's because they were literally the shapes that were over. I'm just going to show you if I can see some blue ones. Right, now I've got a couple here and you might recognize them. There's a couple here that are quite hideous looking. Look at that. I have no idea what that how that happens to be boot shaped, if you can see that. But I just want to show you these, and that one, that's very dear to my heart. So this is what I mean by keeping all the scraps that some people would just throw away, others would just store until whatever. I'll stick those back in the box. So if you remember recently, excuse me, we made a plate, a fabric plate like this, a decorative one for the wall. And I cut out a circle from blue felt. Well, these are the pieces that were over. Most of them are lined with a backing fabric. That one didn't, that escaped. So I'm not even sure if that is part of this. So I'll pop that to one side. But these are definitely part of this. And these were the pieces that I cut from around that circle. And you can see here what I mean. I'll just move that over a little bit. What I mean by keeping all your pieces, and you can use them as I've done here. I've just used them without trimming them into squares or rectangles. I've just used them as they were cut off the fabric. And some of them have made really pretty shapes. Well, I think they all have really. And it just takes an evening of just sitting and sewing mindfully. It's all very mindful. This one, you might recognise this beautiful centre bit or off centre bit here. That was from Celine. Celine sent me some wonderful fabric and I kept the centre. I used the outside of the fabric for a project, but I kept this for something really special. And when I found this, I thought, yeah, that's it. So that is Celine's. I've added these embellishments here, and I've added the back in here. And this was an odd shape. It wasn't exactly that shape. So I did trim that. Or did I trim these? I can't remember now, to be honest. But I know it was a funny shape piece of felt.
that some of these fitted into nicely, other areas I had to trim. This piece here is just ordinary crayon, just felt tip crayon, and I've added some running stitch to it and joined it to a little bit of printed fabric. You'll see that again later, black and white, and I've crayoned between them. And this piece here is part of that. And of course you've probably all seen this before, machine embroidery on some net, and I think that is really beautiful. Thank you, Celine, once again. And this I like very much as well. This was fabric. What did I do here? Yeah, I drew circles with felt pen and just put them under the tap. And this is how they dried, if you can imagine, without the stitching on there. Dried like this, and it's really beautiful, and it was that shape. The piece was that shape. So I just followed the natural contour of the lovely curves there. And then once it had dried, and I had these beautiful rings, some of them have run, but it doesn't really matter. I added some feather stitch and some running stitch and some what are these, not pinwheels in the center. Just dotted them with some sequins, of course, and some French knots. So you can really experiment on these little pieces here. You can do whatever you want. No rules, no regulations. It's what you have to hand. And I have to say, a lot of these were just the result of me putting my hand in the rag bag and coming out with a handful of stuff. Now I'm going to do that now, and I think I might be sorry because my actual rag bag is downstairs. So I'm going to do what I have on the side, and I'm just going to take out, right, this is the felt. I could feel this was felt, so that will make a nice backing fabric. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I didn't know it was going to be all pieces like this. There's another piece there that fell. So I think the irregular shapes are actually very successful. Now, just going to once again stick my hand in that box. Let's see what we've got here. Right, well, I can tell you what I won't be using immediately. If I can get these under the camera here. Right, did use one of those before. I used the candle bit as for a petal, so that'd be good on there. A little bit of lace, that's very pretty. This I won't be using at all. So what have we ended up with? We have ended up with that. So yeah, I will play around and come up with something. And as soon as I have come up with something, I'll get back to you. And we will then start thinking about making up some pages to start putting these on. But before I do that, let's put those there. I'm going to use those. I've also found this. Now, this is a snippet roll, as you probably guessed, which was done some time ago. I have had a recent look at it. I found all sorts of weird and wonderful things that I need to get out and have a look at. So this is done on fabric, Christmas fabric. I wonder if I had actually prepared this for a Christmas course that Tess and I did a couple of years ago after COVID, and I must have mislaid it. I mean, why would I put that on Christmas backing? So I must have had Christmas on my mind. But I'm just going to run this under the camera so you can see. It's all white as well. A little bit of vintage embroidery here and there as well. It's, well, as you can see, it is predominantly white. Now I can't for the life of me think of what I was going to do. Noodle, part of a swimming pool noodle. Swimming noodle. So I'll put this back for a while, and I will get it out again when it's time to decorate pages of this journal, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to carry on with the task in hand, which is making up one of these little embellish things for the page, just so you have a rough idea of how I've made all those in the box. Okay, and these will be the bits that I'll use, the bits I've taken out in front of you on the camera. I'll use those and possibly add to it, and I'll get back to you as soon as I've done that. Well, I had a change of mind. I thought I'd just bring you along for the ride, just to see the process of how I'm going to do this. And it really is very, very simple. Just going to use the red as the basis of the backing, and very, very roughly, without overthinking, just place pieces of fabric on there. And all I'm going to do is tack them down and then trim them from the back. Okay, now if you don't want to see this process, just skip forward to the next part after the transition. Okay, and I'll just leave this up here for those of you who do want to see the layering process. And that's all there is to it. So the next part now is to sew it, and I've decided to machine sew it for quickness. If you haven't got a sewing machine, that's no problem. You can do all of this by hand. So here it is. It didn't take very long to do at all. Just a couple of hours in front of the TV. I just did the stitches as I felt like doing them. There's no rhyme or reason to these small pieces at all. I'm just going to run through this so to show you what I have done. I started with a little bit of lace here. Maybe you can just about see the lace around here under the button. I added a little bit here as well. That is from a larger piece of lace that I found. Also added a little bit here under a key. You can see that key. They're purposely bought as embellishments. You've got brad backings on them. Little group of sequins here as well, down there. A single sequin there and a bead. And a handmade or a hand covered button there. I like this very much. I think the colours there really complement all the colours of the thread. And a little piece of gold ribbon around the shank. I've just tied that around the shank. And then a little bit of stitchery here, feather stitch and some French knots. Same this side. A little bit of lace. Well, it isn't lace. It's more a sewn edge there. A little piece that I had there. And what else? Oh yes, and blanket stitch all the way around the edge. So the next thing I'm going to look at are the pages and see if I can fit this onto the pages. Not sure how I'm going to do that, but the strip of so-called pages still hanging up, so I'm just going to get that off the wall and then we'll have a closer look to see what will be the best. So I only had to stretch over to my side and pull it off the wall. So here it is, and I've measured it as well, and it's 8 feet long. I want this fabric either side. I want all the pages to be made of this, so that will mean doing some back to back like this. So we have this both sides of the page. So that will be the back, and there we'll have the front. I want definite pages, and the best way to do this, I think, is the regular A4 size, which is, I believe, 11 by about 8 inches. And when folded in half, it makes a nice size page. Now the only problem with this is some of these embellishments may be too big for the page. Yeah, so I shall work that out later. Meanwhile, while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to use some of this. Well, use it all actually, and I haven't measured this, so I've no idea how long it is. I mean, it is a fair length, so I'm hoping it does stretch all the way down the end. I'm going to start here. Now, I've decided not to trim this until I've got the pages worked out, until I've actually cut the pages. So the first thing I'm going to do, let's on edge to edge, I'm just going to run this all the way down as far as it'll go, and I think this might give it an added, just a little bit of interest, a little bit of added texture. But how shall I put it? Will it be boring if I just stick it in the middle? Do I need to put some at the top and some at the bottom? How much would show on a page? You see, it does actually, I think, make a little bit of continuity between the pages. Yeah, I can see that now. it was all in my head before. I can just see that. Oh, it's going to be a real hot potch, this one, isn't it? It's going to be. It's going to be. Oh, I don't know what. A sight for sore eyes. But yeah, do you know what? I think I might actually. Oh, this is always the hard part, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to attach this now to one end all the way along, and I will do that on the sewing machine. Look at how pretty that one is. It's a shame to cover these pretty ones up. So I'm going to cut it all the way along the edge, and then I will cut the pages at the top and the bottom all the way along. I just fold it up very quickly. Unfortunately, the strip there wasn't long enough, and I think it's probably 1 page short. You see that? I just ran out towards the end, but it isn't a problem. If I think it's a problem, I'll make some more up, but at this stage I don't intend making any more up. So I haven't trimmed it yet. Now I'm a bit unsure whether to trim it at this stage or to actually trim it later, because there's a couple of things I could do with this. I could bring this over and make that like a binding. So until I really make my mind up as to how I'm going to finish these off, if I'm going to finish them off, I might decide to leave it, depending on how tired I am. I have decided on the size of the pages, and I'm going to stick to the A4 size. So I'm now going to go all the way along here and cut them at A4, which might mean breaking into some of the seams. Oh, like this one. That one actually finishes on a seam. So always a big moment, isn't it, when you have to do something like this. So we start there and cut along here. Oh, that is tough. Now let me do that on there. So whoa, this is quite thick. So there's one, and of course folded, that will be 2 pages, and then once I've backed it, it will be 4. So there we go, that's one. Now they've all been cut and they've all been pressed. The next thing I'm going to do is to go through the embellishments and work out where to put them. I've got quite a few, bearing in mind that the pages will be that size. Oh, that's not very clear, is it? Will be that size. So that's what I'm going to do now. Spend some time just making these into, not pages, they're already in pages, or leaves, I suppose, but working out what's going where, and I might even start tacking them in place. I'm going to get cracking on that, and hopefully next time that you see this there will be something to see. It certainly won't be finished, but it will be on its way, I hope. Well, I expect these are going to look a little bit different, well, a lot different from the last time you saw them. I did sew the pages together back to back and all the way around the edge, and then I went one step further and I compiled them, or constructed them into the books, and I've sewn 2 pages together, 1, 2 down here. So I have ended up with 2 books instead of one big one. Now I'm still not sure whether I need to join these along here to get the big book that I wanted, or whether it's going to be too big, too thick. And you can see it really is a big Jaws mouth there, a beast. I also have not finished the pages off. I've I thought and I thought and I thought about putting the blanket stitch all the way around the edge, or over sewing the edges. And then I thought, no, do you know what? I actually like this raw look. I can remember when I very first saw it, the raw look, on the slow stitching, and when it first started being called slow stitching, and technique wasn't a problem, didn't come into it. Stitches didn't really come into it, as long as you could hold a needle thread and put your needle in and out and pull. I remember seeing sort of these raw edges, and I just couldn't get my head around it. You know, what's going on here? What? What's happening here? And it took me quite a long time. Although I grew up doing things like this, I had my first sewing machine at the age of 8. So, and my mother always used to make clothes, and my mum's side of the family were master craftsmen in furniture. My grandfather was a master upholsterer, and one brother was a carpenter, and one was a French polisher. Everything to do with making furniture. So I grew up around lots and lots of fabric and colour, and was taught to save everything. But I think that could be because my parents lived through the Second World War. So my mum used to save just the tiniest bit of string in case it was ever needed. And she would save things in case it was ever needed. And I always thought I was that way because of being arty crafty from a very young age. But I think that might have had an impact on people of my generation, actually. You've got to save that. Don't fritter your money away. Do this and do that, because you know, things were in short supply. But anyway, that's another story. I'm going to get back to these. That was a long story, wasn't it? So this is the first, what I'm calling the first half. And I'm just going to race through this, okay? So there we go. This is an offcut. Nothing new on here at all. All bits and pieces from the scrap bag. Little offcut there. Offcut there as well. These are all, I want you to bear in mind when you're looking at this, these are all offcuts, all tiny bits and pieces that most people would throw away. And I've seen that when I've been teaching adults on sort of paid private courses and council run courses and all sorts, that a lot of them will throw tiny pieces, and after class, very often or not, I've taken them out and brought them home. I'm ashamed to say. After I've said save it, and no, they don't. People have different outlook now, don't they? But here we go. So I love this page, like fish scales. So, I love this page too. They're all pocketed. All got nice pockets. This one has two. One there and one here. I put that there. That was from that piece that looked like a boot. I took a piece of that off and I've sewn that down there because it was very blue and blank up there. It looked bare. Now, another pocket. Some beautiful beads going on there. So, calling that the first half or the second half, it really doesn't matter, does it? And here we go with this one. But while you're looking at this, have a look and see. There, I've added some more up there as well. These were offcuts as well from the actual side of the journal. Have a look and see. I think I should fill up all the spaces. And I mean, look like this. I feel like that I need to fill this up with some buttons or some stitches. But then if we go to our design elements, which these are not about design, let's be honest. These are about texture and mindfulness. That contrasts with all the busyness, doesn't it? It's just so busy. There's another piece of that black and white. Here. There's a pocket. Oh, another piece. It's like I have to fill up every space with either noise, talking, or busyness. And there. So that's as far as I've got. I'm babysitting tomorrow night into Tuesday morning for my beautiful little granddaughter. I just adore this little girl. And once she goes to bed, and once the family go to bed, then I'm free to wander. I'm going to take these down and just go through them in a different environment. This is something I've always done, taken my work out to a different environment to look at it. It might be a local Costa, it might be a bench, park bench, and just go through it. And sometimes you get a different perspective when you're in a different environment. So this is what I'm doing tomorrow. Those of you who've heard me talk about Tess, this is my daughter-in-law. This is where I get a lot of my scraps from. She's got a garage, and in this garage she has boxes of scraps. So when she's not about, I nip in there and I just have a little rumble, little rummage, just to see. I've got a really good hooky finger here, and I can hook things out like that. But I love her. I love her dearly. So on that note, I'm so hungry. I think my sugar level's dropping. So before I get really stupid, I'm going off now to have my dinner. Next time you see this, hopefully it will be finished. And I'll have come up with an idea about cover. One cover or two covers, okay? So, well, I'm going to call these finished now. I've added a little bits and pieces to some of the pages, and I'm just going to do a flip through now of both of them. I've put little markers in where the pockets are. So I'm starting with this one first. I just want to make sure it's in the screen. Let's move that down a little bit. There we go. So the first one, there we go. I'll take them out. So that's one pocket. Another one. I don't think that one's probably changed since the last time you saw it. Then we have this one. Pocket there. Take that one out. And here. Take that out. Little pocket. Another pocket there. And I think these, I've added these. This part there. And I think that, I don't know if you saw that before. And I've added some cross stitch as well here and here, just to break up that quite severe looking black and white checkerboard effect. You have the pocket there. It's hard to remember now what I have done. Another pocket there. Did I have that in before? I think I might have done. Not sure. But anyway, there is a difference. Little pocket there and a pocket there. I'm not even sure if I had that in, but I can't remember. I really can't. It's been such a busy couple of days. And a pocket there. So that is the first part of it, or the first one. Okay, so I'm going to set that over here. Then I'm going to come to the second one. This one. I have a feeling there might be more work gone on this one. Not here. Oh, I've lost something from there. Right, yeah, so that's a pocket. Right, here we go. There. No, oh, I thought I added something there, but obviously not. There as well. Now, did you see that before? I'm not sure you saw that before. Pocket there and one there. Right, the screen's just gone funny, so let me just deal with that. There we go. Right, pocket there and here. Did you see that? Was that on there before? And a little bit of pink sewing here. There. Now, I know that wasn't there before because I did that last night. A little bit of stitchery there. Pocket there. Pocket there. I like that. I really like that. Decided not to touch that page at all because I love that just as it is. And the back page, last page here. I think I put that on as well. Maybe that. Sorry, I can't be more decisive about that. But as I say, it has been hectic, and it was a nanny day today as well with my grandson, and he's only been gone about half an hour, so my head is still in nanny mode. But anyway, so these two are now finished. So as you can see with the pockets, there are plenty of places to write notes or keep secret things or whatever, little notepads even. I'm not going to attach these for the time being, but I have found this. Now, it wasn't like this when I found it. This is a little bit of crochet that I did some time ago. I mean, it must have been a long time ago. I think it was even, well, it was before I lived here. So this could be about 4 or 5 years old, I think. Not even sure what I was doing it for, but it's a long piece, which all I've done, I've laced together with some lace here. You can see that all the way around the sides here and there. And I've made some sort of buttonhole here with over sewing, blanket stitch all the way. And all I did to make that was to make a hole. It's quite a loose knit, so it was easy to make a hole. So that is a hole, no cut in there. And then I've threaded some lace around the top row of holes here. Do you remember the old style PE bags that we all made? Probably in needlework. And we put our gym shoes in there, our plimsolls. Just pull that like this. Okay. Actually, it looks like a hot water bottle cover, doesn't it? Hey, there's an idea. So both of these journals or fabric books or scrappy books go in there. They both fit in there. So I think that will be a nice place to keep them, to store them until I work out what I'm going to do with them. All right. So there we go. I almost decorated the front of this with some crochet flowers that I have. No, they're not here now. Yeah, I almost decorated it, and then I thought no, because this might not be the permanent home. There we are. Just do that up there and there. Now I can't see this, mind you, I was going to say I can't see that sitting in suitcase because it's far too big. But what I could do is make notes on notebook, sketch pad, and then attach those inside some way. Either staple them or with with paper clips, all sorts of things. There are ways of doing that. Right, so I'm calling that finished, as I said a couple of minutes ago. So I hope you like that. I'm just going to take that up a bit. You can maybe see it all now. So if you're still with me, well done. And I hope you enjoyed that. All scrappy pieces. Don't forget, these are all pieces that would normally go in the bin with some. It's from my bits and pieces bag, and it's all like that, all bits and pieces. Gets on my nerves. It's probably time actually to do something about it. It's all out of hand. So it's recycling or upcycling. It's whatever you want to call it, but it's cheap. It's inexpensive. It didn't cost any money. No John Holt's. Is it John Holt? No. Tim Holt's involved. None of the brown stuff. No powders or anything. It's all what I have here in my boxes. And I expect it's all that you have as well. And if you haven't, improvise. Don't spend any money. Try not to spend any money at all. It's part of the challenge. So there you go. If you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. My numbers don't seem to be moving at the moment. It's a bit disheartening. But anyway, I wish you all well. And wherever you are, I hope you're safe. take care, and hopefully I'll get the next project out soon. I'm still not sure whether this is going to go out in 2 parts or 1. All right, we're about to find out now. Okay, take care everyone.